He's known as a community leader. He's known as an educator. He's known as a diplomat, a political advisor, and to Time magazine, he's known as one of the top preachers in the country. But to most, he's known as Pastor Hill. TBN presents the great messages of Dr. E.V. Hill, pastor of Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church of Los Angeles. And now, Pastor Hill.
Out of the 27th chapter of the book of Acts, I want, and on over to the 28th chapter, I want to narrate an event. You will recall that Paul, in these two chapters, are en route to Rome. And amidst this journey, on a ship loaded with slaves and loaded with cargo, after they had stopped at several islands, you will recall that a mighty storm arose. It is called a Euroculon storm. It is called an uncontrollable wind. And I want to talk to you tonight about a splinter of hope. A splinter of hope. Watching television and listening to radio and listening to many of these talk shows nowadays, you can be discouraged to the point of not believing that there is any hope. Particularly those of you who are not close up in your prayer life and in your devotional life, you can lose the enthusiastic belief that there is hope. As a matter of fact, the storm was so great until it said, and after they had not seen stars, nor moon, nor light for 14 days, all hope that they should be saved was gone. And as I travel around the country and talk to people, both in government and in church, some clergymen, they won't say it and they won't let me quote them on television or radio, but there is a smirky feeling that we are just about hopeless. We are just about hopeless. One of the exasperations of the Congress of the United States is that they have so many problems and so little hope, until they have to fuss and fight over the little hope that they have, to take credit for it on this side or on that side, because there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of hope. And so in the midst of this despair, in the midst of your despair tonight, because you may well be one who went to church yesterday and last night and returned home with not a whole lot of hope. You may well be one who has already given up, but I want to encourage you tonight. I'm led by the Holy Spirit of God to speak to some believer, and I trust an unbeliever will hear and be saved. I want to talk about a splinter of hope. And when these sailors of the sea, when these experts at sailing did everything they could, they threw over precious cargo, they tried to undergird the ship, fighting against the mighty waves of this Euroculon wind, they passed the word around that all hope that we should be saved is now near gone. And about that time, a prisoner by the name of Paul was heard coming up out of the depth of the ship, where they had him a prisoner chained. They were carrying him to Rome, and he was with all of the other prisoners, common prisoners. But he comes up to the top of the ship, and he says, be of good cheer. And you can imagine how that sounded to the captain of the ship. Be of good cheer. No sun, nor moon, nor light for 14 years. Nothing but a rocking ship and a loss of cargo and a certain destruction coming upon them. And here comes a defrocked preacher, for he had been defrocked and he was being carried as a prisoner to Rome. And here he comes up out of the ship, out of the belly of the ship, and says, be of good cheer. And he says, as a matter of fact, eat something. Eat something. Sit down and eat and relax yourself. And this ship is going from side to side. And I imagine they said, that's a lunatic preacher. All of them are crazy like that. But he says, be of good cheer. He says, because I have a message for you. And my message to you tonight who see no hope, I have a message for you. I too, like you, I have heard about what's to happen in 2000. I doubt whether anybody really knows too much about what's going to happen in 2000 until we get to 2000, and then we'll find out who did. I don't know whether the Lord is coming back in 2000. He might surprise us tomorrow. He might surprise us in the morning. He could surprise us before we leave here. And I don't know about all of that, but I do come to tell you, have some hope. I'm aware of our shaky government. I, like you, went through the laborious task of watching our government at a frustrating period in history for the last 6 or 7 weeks. But I come tonight and say, be of good cheer, because he said, I got a message tonight. I got a message. Paul said, I got a message. An angel of the Lord, whose I am and who I serve, stood by me this night. And there's some old-fashioned things that I'd like for you to re-adopt. There's some old-fashioned things that I wish you would place your faith again in. I'm from the country. I was reared in a log cabin. And I used to hear Mama said to Aunt Kelly, an angel of the Lord spoke to me. I know we're now living in modern times, and we've outlived the idea of angels. We now have Sputniks, but they had angels. And I'm still in that age. I still believe that God has angels of mercy taking care of us and watching over us. I believe that. I actually believe that. Part of my prayer when I go to bed at night is, Lord, put your angels over me. I have a dog, I have a security system, but sometimes none of that don't work. But these angels keep watching over me. And one of our great Negro songwriters wrote that song, all night and all day, angels keep watching over me. And so this was strange language to these ship persons and these captains and crew when Paul talks about an angel passed by your cabin and came down in the bottom of the ship and talked to me. And there's some of you who tonight, you are literally in the bottom of the ship. But I want you to know angels know where you are.